The function and organization of the respiratory system is the topic of this screencast. You may find this topic in Chapter 13 of your textbook. This screencast was designed to help you achieve the following objectives. Describe the functions of the respiratory system. List the 5 processes of respiration. List the organs of the upper and lower respiratory tracts. Describe the conducting and respiratory zones. I would like to start our discussion on the respiratory system by first focusing on the functions of the respiratory system, because all the other details that we're going to learn all relate to its function. One of the functions, of course, is to provide body cells with oxygen and to remove carbon dioxide. Oxygen, as you know, are required at all times by the cells of your body, and this is to support cellular metabolism. Oxygen is required in order to oxidize glucose to make ATP. Carbon dioxide, of course, is a byproduct of cellular metabolism and must be removed. So your body cells need a constant supply of oxygen, and carbon dioxide needs to be constantly removed, and that is one of the functions of the respiratory system. Respiration is the process of providing body cells with oxygen so that they may make ATP by aerobic respiration, and then removing carbon dioxide from those body cells. So we can subdivide respiration into 5 processes. Pulmonary ventilation is the act of breathing, inhaling and exhaling. The function of pulmonary ventilation is to refresh the air in the lungs. The second process of respiration is external gas exchange or external respiration. Blood in the pulmonary capillaries are unloaded of their carbon dioxide and loaded of their oxygen. The oxygenated or high oxygen blood is then transported by the cardiovascular system, this is gas transport, to the systemic capillaries of the body. There, oxygen is unloaded and made available to the cells of the body, and carbon dioxide produced by the cells is loaded into the blood of the systemic capillaries. The oxygen now made available to the cells may be used for cellular respiration. The respiratory system also houses the sensory receptors that are responsible for our sense of smell. In the roof of our nasal cavity, shown here in a sagittal view, we have olfactory receptors. These olfactory receptors detect inhale molecules, enabling our sense of smell. The respiratory system also houses the organs involved in the production of sound. As air moves in and out of the respiratory tract, vocal cords located in the larynx vibrate, allowing for the production of sounds of the human voice. Another function of the respiratory system is to regulate blood pH, and it does this by controlling carbon dioxide levels. If you recall, blood pH must remain within the narrow limits of 7.35 to 7.45. You may ask, what does carbon dioxide have to do with blood pH? Well, carbon dioxide in the blood combines with water. Remember that your blood is about 50% water, and it forms carbonic acid. Carbonic acid, being an acid, will dissociate to some extent into hydrogen ions and bicarbonate, thus contributing to the acidity of the blood. The respiratory system, by altering the amount of carbon dioxide in the blood, can alter blood pH to keep it within the narrow range of 7.35 to 7.45. We will not discuss how the respiratory system regulates blood pH to any great extent in this chapter. when we discuss the urinary system toward the end of the semester and how the urinary system regulates blood pH. We will talk about the details about how the respiratory system regulates blood pH as well. The respiratory system may be subdivided into an upper respiratory system, which includes the structures of the head, such as the nose, nasal cavity, paranasal sinuses, and pharynx, and the lower respiratory system, which includes structures in the neck and chest, starting with the larynx or voice box, and then proceeding inferiorly, the trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, and lungs. The respiratory system can also be subdivided functionally into the conducting zone, which includes those organs which provide a passageway to and from the lungs, and the respiratory zone, where gas exchange actually is occurring between the air in the respiratory tract and the blood in the pulmonary capillaries. So the respiratory zone only includes respiratory bronchioles and the alveoli of the lungs. All other organs, the nasal cavity, the pharynx, the larynx, the trachea, the bronchi, would be part of the conducting zone because they conduct air either to or from the respiratory zone. Now let's review the objectives of the screencast. Describe the functions of the respiratory system. List the 5 processes of respiration. List the organs of the upper and lower respiratory tracts. And describe the conducting and respiratory zones. The anatomy of the conducting zone will be the topic of the next screencast.